just a short time. Are we going to go live to that news conference? All right, we're going to go live to that news conference and listen in.
Significant clearing or sunny skies until Tuesday. Thank you.
And thank you. And so that's the importance is regardless of where you are in the state, continue to stay home, continue to stay off the roadways. What we have right now is just a lot of resources at play. We've got 255 active troopers on the road right now, certainly with more available. We've got 1,000 DOT maintenance workers that are working every single shift as we go forward. We've got half of our DNR officers activated right now, 320 of our SLED officers on standby. We had and really planned ahead in terms of sandbags and making sure we had enough of that. We were looking at about 200,000 that we had. We've used about 30,000 plus up until this time. We have activated 600 of our National Guardsmen. We've got 500 additional that are immediately available and on call, and then we've got 8,000 on standby. So the National Guard's been on call since Thursday when we set off this state of emergency. The calls for assistance that we've seen so far have been 754, and that's just in the last 12-hour period. Am I right, Director Smith, that we are looking at 323 collisions just in that time frame. We unfortunately have had 3 fatalities through this weather event so far, and we are looking at swiftwater rescue teams are really very much at play here. We've got 8 deployed. We're receiving 4 from Tennessee. I think 5 more on the way. That's something that we're continuing to do and make sure that we have on standby as we need going forward. We have 11 aircrafts available for aerial rescues as we need. 2 are deployed currently right now, and 106 high water vehicles. So there's a lot of equipment and people and first responders on the roads. That's the reason we need everybody to stay off the roads. Other states have been incredibly helpful. I just communicated with Governor Pat McCrory, who has basically said he will help in any way that he can from North Carolina. We've already received 4 National Guard helicopters from North Carolina, 4 additional swiftwater rescue teams from Tennessee. The incident management team is on its way from Florida. That's been helpful, but the federal resources have been here since Thursday, and that's been unbelievably helpful in terms of we've got a federal coordinating officer here on the ground, a FEMA incident management team, swiftwater rescue teams are coming in from Fort Bragg, and then we've got helicopters on the scene. So our goal is all hands on deck. What we are going to continue to say is if you are in your house, stay in your house. This is not something to be out taking pictures of. This is not something that you want your kids playing in. The water's not safe. In a lot of areas across the state where you see this deep water, it's got bacteria in it. So stay inside and don't get in there. We've seen areas of the interstate that are right now clear, but there'll be a patch where it goes and it gets real deep. You're going to have to turn around. It's not worth doing it. We're in the process of closing all the interstates around the Columbia area. That's changing literally as we go. It is not good to get outside. You will see we're going to have another meeting and conference call again at 5 o'clock. I'm going to be heavily encouraging county offices to close tomorrow, which automatically we're going to suggest that schools close. And the main reason for that is this is not going to clear up until at least Tuesday or Wednesday. So what we need from a state perspective is give us the space that we need. I need all my first responders on there. I need all of my utility crewmen being able to get through there and get power back on. We need to make sure that we have everybody from DOT able to open those roads or close those roads as needed. I think we have, right now we're looking at about 25,000 outages, but our utilities have been fantastic at trying to really turn that back up. Some areas are easier than others, but so much of what we need, this is heavy equipment that's on the roads. And when you look at that those high water vehicles and all of those things, they need to be able to get through in and out. We've worked very closely with Lexington County today. We know that they're going through a lot of issues. Absolutely need everybody to stay home. Myrtle Beach has gone through a terrible time in terms of that, but this is an incident we've never had before. You know, when we dealt with the 2 winter storms before, we said this was the first time we had really dealt with that. This is different than a hurricane because it's water and it's slow moving and it's sitting, and we can't just take the water out. So as long as it sits, we just need to do the best we can at controlling the environment around it and the situation around it. We very much are focused on maps, and the maps that we're looking at right now are what the status of our police stations are, what the status of our fire departments are, what the status of schools and hospitals and shelters and where they are, and what's low-lying, nursing homes, very much focused on that. We know we had Roper down a little bit. We got Roper Hospital back up, but we have one emergency room that's down for contamination. So these things are changing very fluidly. There is a emergency management division office in every county, and so the state has state officials in those counties that are really going through a hard time. There's constant communication with this building, which has every agency there. So we're going to continue to do that, but I can't stress enough that we'll do our part. This is really all about the citizens of South Carolina. Stay home. Don't get out in it. Don't take pictures of it. Watch TV. TV has done a great job of telling what this is. And then not only that, we have amazing websites that will give you everything. I know DOT has a fantastic Facebook page that shows road closures. Public Safety has a great Facebook page that just talks more about the incident, and then all of it feeds into the Emergency Management Division website, which will tell you really in real time what we're seeing, maps, flooding, what we're expecting to do, and all of those things. The one thing that I've asked Secretary Hall to do is to take precautions through this entire time. Since Thursday, it's all about not waiting until something happens, getting in front of it. And so we are closing roads. If we think there's going to be flooding, we're not going to wait for it to flood. We're closing them. And we've been doing that proactively just to, discourage anybody from even going that way. And then, I'll reiterate again, and I know that Director Smith will do that, is if for any reason you're in your car and you're driving and you see water, turn around, don't drown. That's the one thing they always say, because it doesn't matter how much you hit the gas, you're going to get stuck. And to already have 3 fatalities, that's 3 too many. And it's 3 people that we needed to stay home that didn't. So now I've got a few people that are going to add to what I've had to say, and we're first going to start off with General Livingston.
Thank you, Governor. Based on the Governor's priorities, the National Guard and really all state agencies are supporting county and city efforts throughout the state, focusing on safety issues, rescue operations, evacuations, and detouring the public away from areas of danger. Then we're concentrating on preservation of infrastructure, and then finally we'll turn around and start worrying about restoring infrastructure. If you see a lot of water going by and there's nobody there, that doesn't mean nobody's working. We're over where people are in need. We've just completed 2 aerial rescues in Richland and Sumter counties. We have high water vehicles down in Somerton, working in Georgetown, and working down in Charleston, and now working in the Lexington and Richland County area. So if you see an incident, call your county, call 911, and it will go through that county lightning fast and get to those proper resources. One of the instances in Richland County, we had a mother and her child stranded. A rescue worker tried to get to him. He got stranded, and so we used an aerial rescue to go get all of them, and then started picking some people off rooftops. So this system is very immediate. It's very quick. So make sure you keep your counties involved. Call that 911 and let us know what's going on out there. And the governor's talking about the websites out there. Look at the websites. Look at the National Guard website. You can see what's going on rather than getting out there and possibly getting yourself in trouble. So we don't want to have to rescue you too. Governor?
Thank you, General. And now we're going to turn it over to Director Stinson of Emergency Management Division.
Thank you, Governor. Our role here at the SEOC is to coordinate the state response to emergency situations like that, like we're having right now. And essentially what that means is we're providing support to local authorities when they need additional resources and can't respond within their own confines. So that's our primary role here right now. We've actually had about 80 requests. We've fulfilled about 10 of them so far. Some of them are pending. We have a number of state agencies that are working on a number of issues right now, to include the swiftwater rescue teams, high mobility vehicles, feeding, sheltering, pretty much everything we do when we have a disaster situation. We've got personnel from the State Emergency Management Division that are embedded in the counties that are most straught right now, and basically that helps facilitate the requests and make sure that we've got an on-the-ground presence to take care of whatever happens down there. We've also, before the event, did a great deal in terms of staging events, staging personnel rather, and making sure that we could respond quickly, because basically that's what we want to do is once we do get the request, we want to be able to reduce the response time. So thank you very much.
Yes.
I wanted to add something to Director Stinson's remarks. A lot of this was pre-planned as we got the weather reports early on, and we started bringing resources in on Thursday. We have excess resources waiting for assignments right now. So the resources are there. Do not be concerned that we're going to run out of resources. The governor's done a great job of getting all of us to get ahead of that curve so that we are going to be prepared for future missions. So resources are in good shape. Thank you.
Thank you, General. And now we'll turn it over to Secretary Hall of DOT.
Thank you, Governor. With regards to the transportation network in the state, we have obviously closed numerous roads and bridges in the state due to flooding issues and concerns about the structural health of our bridges. Several of our bridges are underwater currently. We have not had the opportunity to review those bridges to determine when and if we can reopen those structures. The Charleston area, the Georgetown area of the state continue to be hard hit. The Midlands area is a focus of ours currently in the state, the Columbia area in particular, and basically the PD area of the state as well with regards to road and bridge closures. We have several engineers in addition to our maintenance employees that are out on the roads and bridges checking and assessing situations. If there's any doubt whatsoever, we're going to go ahead and close the facility to make sure that safety and public health and life is paramount in this situation. We're not going to risk any loss of life with regards to infrastructure. Along those lines, our major interstate facilities in the state, I-26 at the very end in the Charleston area remains closed at this time. Heading into Charleston, I-95, the section between Florence all the way down to I-26 is in the process of being closed and rerouted. I-126 heading into downtown Columbia, the large bridge there over the Broad River, we're closing that as well. And then a section of I-20 around Monticello Road here in the Columbia area has already been closed, and we are expecting to need to close portions of I-77, some additional portions of I-26, and some additional portions of I-20 in and around the Columbia area due to rising water levels and just being able to have people not drive through water and risk any kind of damage. We are continuing to assess Blossom and Gervais Street here in the Columbia area, which is downstream of the Lake Murray Dam. Again, safety is our top priority, and we request that unless you absolutely have to for emergency situations, we request that there is no travel on the roads at this time. Governor.
Thank you, Secretary Hall. And now we'll turn it over to Director Smith with Department of Public Safety.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon. As the Governor mentioned earlier, please stay off the roads. As I said before, that's the best advice that we can give you, to stay home and stay off the roads. The Governor also mentioned the phrase, turn around, don't drown. We seriously mean that. There are dangers underneath that standing water. Again, down power lines, tree branches, and dangerous chemicals. So we ask that you not use water for recreational purposes. You never know what's in that water. We will continue to work with SCDOT regarding road closures and diversion routes. This has been a very tedious process for us because the situations are changing sometimes right away immediately. So we're partnering with SCDOT to make sure that the proper precautionary measures are taken to secure those roadways. We will maintain adequate staffing for this event. The Governor mentioned earlier we have 255 DPS officers out on the roads now. that number could be increased in the event that we need to. Working with our state partners, whether it's SLED, DNR, Triple P, we can also tap into that resource to augment our staffing as well. During the operational period from 6 p.m. yesterday to 6 a.m. This morning, we responded to 754 calls for service. 323 of those calls were collisions. We've had 5 fatalities since the emergency declaration has been established. 3 of the 5 fatalities were weather related. Down in the Somerton area, apartment complex was on the water. SLED coordinated that event and sent agents and some of our partners to respond to that. 15 SLED agents, 5 Triple P agents, 7 DNR officers, and 2 troopers responded to that event there in Somerton to assist. I think we assist with over 300 tenants being evacuated from that complex. With respect to DNR in Berkeley, Clarendon, Richland, and Lexington counties, they're performing search and rescue missions. Basically, people are trapped either in homes and cars, so whatever it takes, they're there performing those viable search and rescue missions. With respect to ESF 13 SLED, they are on standby in the event that we started getting calls, looting incidents. Again, SLED will work with our local partners to make sure that we have proper resources to respond to those types of incidents. And on a final note, I'm quite sure the governor wouldn't mind. I just want to talk about this team right here. And I think that we're at our best during times of crisis. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Director Smith. So now I just want to address where we are right now. It's not over. We're in the middle of it. We've still got easily another 24 hours that you should be extremely careful. We've got more rainfall that's expected. This isn't, while we're dealing with rivers and lakes and all that, this was flash floods at or historic rainfall like we've never seen before. And so we are trying to deal with that. There are shelters out there. We need you to know that you can call 911. You can call your emergency management office or go to any of the websites and they will tell you, even if we need one person to have a shelter open, we will do that. So if you're in a low-lying area, there's more rain coming. Know that there are shelters available. Know that there are people available. We have the resources to go out and help whoever needs to. The reason we're asking everybody to stay home is we want to save those resources for those that really need it. So I know that we're hearing from a lot of people in the low-lying areas. We're trying to get them out. We're trying to make sure we take care of that. For those of you who have had damage, I can't say how sorry I am. We have seen the level of damage to houses, to apartment complexes, to businesses all across the state. And I would just ask for the people of South Carolina to lift up everyone in prayer. We're not out of this yet. Safety is of the utmost concern for everyone. And, we'll get through this. We will get through this. But we need everybody to stay strong, listen to your first responders, call if you need help, and say an extra prayer. And let's hope that South Carolina can get through this. You should plan on not being on the roads anytime today or tomorrow. So just assume that roads are going to be off tomorrow when we do have this call that we're getting ready to do with our counties and then also with our state agencies. Again, I'm going to advise that the county offices strongly consider, we're going to look at the areas and look at the maps and make sure that county offices close, which schools should follow. We need the school superintendents to follow those county offices, and if the county offices close, then the school offices close. It is an automatic that state offices close based on the county. So, stay in touch with your employer, make sure that you have safety plans in place with your business. Go ahead and call them now as to whether you're going to go to work tomorrow, because we are encouraging everybody that doesn't have to work tomorrow not to go and to seriously consider staying home for one more day, and let us get through this. We'll continue to keep you updated as this goes forward, and like I said, please go to the Emergency Management Division website. All of these agencies feed into that website, so you can see anything from road closures to incident reports to shelter facilities to everything that you could possibly need or want in terms of questions for that. But until then, we're going to continue to hunker down and we'll continue to keep South Carolina strong. Thank you. God bless. And with that, we will open up for any questions that you may have.
But Governor Haley, you mentioned federal assistance. Now, this has been mainly for public safety costs. Will there be any individual federal assistance or federal assistance for repairs to infrastructure or anything of that nature?
So I know what we did was we asked for a state of declaration of emergency Thursday or Friday, I think it is, and that's been approved. And basically that means that I think counties get up to 75% of what is requested from an individual level. Does anybody have an answer?
That's not quite right.
Is that, do you want to go ahead and clarify, please?
Yeah, and Mike, our SCO, might want to chime in too. But basically what we got the other day was a federal emergency declaration, and it's only for direct federal assistance. So if we ask for federal assets, they will come here and at a 75% cost, 25% to us. At some point here, and we're already starting to gather the damage assessment piece of it, is that we will be working with our federal partners to see if we get a major federal declaration, which would include both the public assistance, which would be assistance for damaged infrastructure, bridges, schools, roads, that sort of thing. And then the potential is also there for individual assistance as well.
Okay, thank you.
But we have to go through the damage assessment process, gather the information, but we'll work very closely with that. And we're going to lean very forward in that particular piece of it, so we can get that declaration request in as soon as possible.
Yes, and from the DOT Road and Bridge perspective, I can tell you that we've been partnering and been in contact quite constantly over the last several days with the Federal Highway Administration. They've been actively engaged in part of our briefings and updates and decision-making on the road and bridge side, so we've had those connections established as well. And if for some reason the other funding doesn't come to fruition, we have emergency relief funding available through the Federal Highway Administration as an option.
So what we did was we reached out to our federal partners early, and they responded great. We've had a great, not only responded, but responded by being here on the ground in the office, helping all of our agencies work through that. We're going to take it a day at a time. But all I can say at this point is they've been fantastic partners to work with.
To be accurate, so far, 3 fatalities or 5 fatalities?
3 fatalities, which were weather-related. We have had 5 fatalities since we declared a state of emergency, but 3 were actually related to weather.
That is accurate. 5 total fatalities, 3 were weather-related.
And some conflicting reports about dams that have failed.
Okay, I would have to defer
Yeah.
to...
Well, we actually have, either of you can do that.
Well,
Why don't
I
you go ahead,
can't-
you go
the only
first, and
one-
then I'll let Christy do that.
the only thing I can speak to is I'm Tom Allen from the Office of Regulatory Staff. We've been.
You just heard from Governor Nikki Haley and her team of first responders, all hands on deck to respond to an unprecedented event, historic rainfall and flooding in this state. The governor reports 3 deaths related to the weather. She also reported that there have been more than 300 collisions on roads in South Carolina since it was declared a state emergency. The governor also says that federal resources have been available to this state since Thursday, and she reminded everyone to stay home as much as possible, that if it is not an absolute emergency, if you are not a first responder or a medical official, that you stay off the road. She also indicated that there are shelters available and more than 764 calls for assistance in this state. And she said that bridges in these particular areas, Georgetown, Columbia, the PD, the Midlands, and certainly here in Charleston, that are underwater and are being assessed for safety. The governor again stressing that everyone stay home at least one more day and away from work if you can, to make sure that you are not in fact a danger to yourself or others who might respond in the event of an emergency. Again, you can continue to follow our breaking news information about closures and cancellations on our website, countont2.com, and we also invite you to stay in touch with us through social media.